The village of Zuba was surrounded by thick forests and tall mountains. The people of Zuba were happy, hardworking, and full of life. They farmed the rich land, danced under the stars, and told stories about their ancestors around glowing fires. Amora was a little girl who loved stories more than anything else. Her grandmother, Mama Neo, told her about the sacred baobab tree that stood at the heart of the village. "The tree watches over us," Mama Neo often said. "As long as we honor it, our village will be safe." One cold morning, Amora woke up to an eerie silence. Usually, the village would be bustling with activity, children playing, chickens clucking, and women pounding yam. But today, there was nothing. Amora stepped out of her hut and saw that the village was empty. Every house was open, and everyone was gone. Even the animals had disappeared. Fear gripped her heart. "Mama, Papa," she called, but there was no answer. She ran to the baobab tree, hoping to find someone there, but the tree was bare. At its base was a strange carving she had never seen before. It read, "When the bonds are broken, the earth will take back its own." Amora did not understand, but she felt the words were important. Tears filled her eyes. She was just a little girl. What could she do? Suddenly, she heard the faint sound of drums coming from the forest. It was the sound of the sacred drums used during ceremonies, but who was playing them? Amora followed the sound, clutching her grandmother's scarf tightly. The forest was darker than usual, and the trees seemed to whisper. The further she walked, the louder the drums became. She saw footprints in the soil, but they were strange, too large to belong to any human. She stopped and looked around, her heart pounding. "Who's there?" she asked, her voice trembling. There was no reply. Instead, a cold wind blew, and the leaves rustled louder. Amora wanted to run back to the village, but something told her she needed to keep going. She remembered Mama Neo's stories about courage. "The spirits only test the brave," her grandmother would say. As she walked deeper into the forest, she saw a faint light. She followed it until she reached a clearing. There, she saw a group of figures dancing around a fire. They were tall and shadowy, with glowing eyes. They moved gracefully, yet their presence felt wrong. Amora hid behind a tree, watching them. "Are these spirits?" she whispered to herself. Her grandmother's stories about angry spirits came rushing back to her. She realized that these beings might have something to do with the village's disappearance. One of the figures stopped dancing and turned its glowing eyes toward her hiding spot. Amora's breath caught in her throat. The figure spoke in a deep, echoing voice. "Child of Zuba, why do you hide?" Amora didn't know what to say. Her legs trembled, but she stepped out from behind the tree. "Where is my family?" she asked, trying to keep her voice steady. The figure pointed toward the fire. "They are here, in the place between worlds. They broke the pact, and now they belong to us." "What pact?" Amora asked, tears streaming down her face. "Please, let them go." The figure's eyes softened for a moment. The land was sacred, but it was not honored. The tree's roots are thirsty, its spirit weak. Until the bond is mended, they cannot return. Amora's mind raced. How could she fix something she didn't understand? She looked at the fire and thought about her grandmother's words. The baobab tree must be the key. "What must I do?" she asked, her small voice filled with determination. The figure nodded, as if pleased by her courage. "Find the voice of the tree. It will guide you." Before she could ask what that meant, the figures and the fire disappeared, leaving her alone in the dark forest. The sacred drums had stopped, and the silence was deafening. Amora took a deep breath and turned back toward the village. She had a mission now, but the path ahead was uncertain. As she walked, the forest seemed alive, watching her every move. She didn't know how she would find the tree's voice, but she knew she couldn't give up. Her family and her village depended on her. When she finally reached the baobab tree, the moonlight bathed it in a soft glow. Amora knelt before it and whispered, "Please, show me the way." The baobab tree shuddered gently, as if hearing Amora's plea. Its leaves began to shimmer in the moonlight, and its roots slowly shifted, forming an opening at its base. A faint, melodic voice emerged from within. "Child of Zuba," the voice said, soft yet powerful. The bond was broken because the people forgot the sacred rituals they took from the land without giving back. Now, the balance must be restored. Amora swallowed her fear. "Tell me how I can fix it. I will do anything to bring my family back." The tree's voice grew warmer. "There is a fruit hidden in the heart of this forest, guarded by the keeper of seasons. This fruit will heal my roots and restore the bond. But the journey is dangerous, and the keeper will only give it to the pure of heart." Amora stood, her resolve stronger than ever. "I'll find it." Amora ventured deeper into the forest, the trees looming taller and the air growing colder. As she walked, she encountered her first trial, a massive river that roared like thunder. The only way across was a fragile bridge made of vines, swaying dangerously in the wind. She hesitated, then remembered her grandmother's words, "Courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it." Amora took a deep breath and stepped onto the bridge. It creaked and groaned, but she kept her eyes forward, her grandmother's scarf tied tightly around her wrist for strength. Halfway across, the wind howled, nearly knocking her off. Summoning all her courage, she crawled the rest of the way until she reached solid ground. After hours of walking, Amora reached a clearing bathed in golden light. At its center stood the keeper of seasons, a towering figure draped in robes that changed colors like the shifting seasons. Its face was hidden beneath a hood, but its glowing eyes radiated wisdom. "Why have you come, little one?" the keeper asked, its voice like rustling leaves. "I need the sacred fruit to save my family and my village," Amora replied, her voice unwavering. The keeper studied her for a moment. "The fruit is not easily earned. Prove your worth by answering this: what is the greatest gift the earth gives, and how will you honor it?" Amora thought deeply. She remembered her grandmother's stories about the land and its gifts. Finally, she said, "The greatest gift is life, the food we eat, the air we breathe, the shelter we find. I will honor it by teaching my people to give back, to care for the land as it cares for us." The keeper nodded, pleased by her answer. It reached into a glowing tree behind it and handed her a golden fruit. "You have shown wisdom and heart. Take this and restore the balance." Amora hurried back to the baobab tree, clutching the fruit tightly. As she approached, the tree's roots opened again, welcoming her. She placed the fruit at the base of the tree, and immediately, golden light spread through its roots, illuminating the entire village. The tree began to bloom, its branches bursting with vibrant leaves and flowers. The carving on its trunk glowed, and the air filled with the sound of sacred drums. Slowly, the villagers and animals began to reappear, as if waking from a long sleep. Amora's parents ran to her, their faces filled with relief. "Amora, you saved us," her mother cried, pulling her into a tight embrace. Mama Nail smiled knowingly. "The spirits have tested you, and you have made us proud." The next day, the villagers gathered around the baobab tree. Amora, standing beside her grandmother, shared her journey. Together, they led a new ritual to honor the tree and the land, promising to never forget the balance that must be kept. As the villagers danced and sang under the sacred tree, Amora felt a deep sense of pride and belonging. The baobab tree swayed gently, its leaves shimmering as if in approval. From that day forward, Amora was known as the keeper of Zuba, a protector of the sacred bond between the people and the land.